Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I love you and God loves you best. We are back with another video, and this is review for Chasing Orlando, and I am putting together episodes 3 and 4. Yes, I said 3 and 4. Don't worry about it. You getting it and you're welcome. So we're going to put together 3 and 4, and I am going to give you 5, and then we're going to get caught up with the finale that's coming up, and we'll be all there. How's that sound? Sounds good to me. So let's get right on into it. Devin, bottom line, you were wrong at this man's party. Ayo and Kelly, you were wrong. You shouldn't have been flipping tables over on nobody. And these are the issues. One, Remy throwing the t-shirt or the rag or whatever in your face. Yes, you had every right to pop off at that moment. So if you were going to do it, that was the time to do it. So when you jumped up, I was ready to see you pop off. That you did not do. You just went with the theatrics like it was Mean Girls, as you said. But you didn't do nothing. So if you're not going to do nothing, you're not going to do nothing. And maybe you're not that girl. Maybe you too pretty to fight. And it's okay. We can be too pretty to fight, but we don't flip tables either. And we don't try and sneak people when they back turn. Yeah, don't think I didn't see that and Callie had to stop you. See, you give me the tease that don't want to give a head up phase, and you might not have the best hand game. No pun intended. I mean, you might be able to throw them bows. So you are more inclined to sneak people or do the stuff that you did, which is flip said table or punch a cake. And also, I feel like you reacted the way you did because you didn't get the response that you were expecting from Remini when she was laid down aside the table and was just paying you like it's whatever. And I don't think that you like that either. So because Remy was doing that, you felt the need to go ahead and proceed to flip said table, and then you broke glass, you cut her with glass, and nothing about that was cute. And Callie had every right to feel disrespected. Ayo, I want to know, did you have a hand in orchestrating, or was you trying to instigate? Because you felt really good about Remy slipping and sliding, and I didn't know how to feel about that. If it was all about the throwing of the towel, then whatever. But you seemed really satisfied with that moment, and I don't know why. But we move on, and Max and Pablo meet up, and Max apologizes to Pablo about the incident at the puffing paint. If I never hear about the puffing paint again, it'll be too soon. And I can only I'm starting to question Pablo. But let's just move on. Pablo approves of Max, and these are the reasons that Pablo approves of Max. Only because, one, Pablo listens to him, and two, Pablo respects him. Now, these are two of the main characteristics of a loyal pet. They listen to you, and they show you respect. When you tell them to, you give them commands and they obey them. That is a sign of respect. Children, you give them instruction and they follow that instruction. They obey you and they listen to you when you speak, from children to parent. They also come to you for direction. When he said that he calls him for advice, children often come to their parent or someone who is in a role of leadership. They often look to that person for some sense of direction or advice. So it just made it seem like for him, Max was his underling. And that's what it came across as. I don't know if that's what he meant it to be, but that's what it was giving. Ooh. I had to plug back in. I didn't realize that my battery was about to die on my computer. So we had to get that fixed real quick. Moving right along. Yeah, it just comes across like, Pablo, you looking at Max like he's your underling. And Max, I believe that your intentions are pure to be a genuine friend, but it might be like Pablo's personality, and this is personally, not professionally. We are separating the two. Him personally, I don't feel. He just rubs me raw all the way around. But his personality, personally, in his personal space, seems that he wants to have this sense of superiority, and he wants to, I don't know, just be in control. Like he wants all eyes on him. And if I'm wrong, I ask y'all to forgive me. Pablo, I ask you to forgive me. And Lord, I ask you to forgive me, because I don't want to be wrong, but that's what it's giving me. And if that's not what it is, then camera, show me something different. Now we have AO meeting up with his mom at Amelia Court for his lash event. And I think it's a wonderful idea. I just want to know, because he's putting so much emphasis on his mother approving of everything. I just want to know, AO, who is paying? Laquan, who is paying? Is you paying or is mama paying? That's all I want to know. Are you paying or is your mother paying? Because we all, especially, I am one that is very close to my mother, so of course I would want her approval. But if it's not her dime, then we may not have the same vision. So she's just gonna have to get along to get along. We just don't have to agree to disagree. If it's not her dime, now if it's her dime, then still my vision. But she has a lot more stake, so she has more say, and I understand that. Moving right along, we see Max at the Orlando premiere. Oh, the Orlando premiere, miss it a little bit. It was something that I did annually, and where Max was on the floor of the showcase where they do like the floor demos with all of the a lot of the hair brands. You'll see Redken, Bumble and Bumble, Paul Mitchell, of course, all the big names. You'll see, and they have their big platforms that they're doing hair and doing different demonstrations and things like that. Where he was going around to, those were actually sales. You have the entire floor, different parts. You have nails, you have skin, you have petty station for sale purposes. So he was going around to different brand representatives and sales people who were doing actual sales. Now, they do have classes that they give at the premiere show. They have paid classes and then they have free classes. It would have been nice to see the camera go into one of the free classes. I don't know if he was able to make any of them. I mean, they are free, but I don't know. I was more concentrated in in nails at the time. As I've explained, I am a full specialist. So my concentration was more in nails. And so that's where a lot of my demonstrations and classes were. And yes, you work with product and you do different, sometimes you'll do a set, sometimes you'll do a hand. It all depends on how long that class is. But it was nice for him to just give a sneak peek of the showcase and what it looks like on the inside. Then we have Pablo and Cali meetup. Now, I really thought that this might have been a waste, because I thought that maybe Cali and Pablo would have discussed their issues that pertain to the puff and paint. And Pablo would have addressed how he felt about Cali's representation at his puff and paint. So that didn't happen. Instead, they discussed the cake, and they discussed Remini and Devin, and they discussed Max and how Max felt about his face not being on the cake. I'm back. The light went out. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh, Cali and Pablo. They talked about everything but their issues. So they talked about Max's face not being on the cake. I think that was a waste of time. But Pablo goes hard for his friend, so go off, friend. Then they talked about how they felt about B-Baby's birthday party being an open invite. It's his birthday, is his housewarming, is his party. He can do what he wants. Either you're going to attend or you're not. I mean, I was just waiting for Pablo to address the puff and paint, but there was no discussion. So if he's not going to talk about it, then it's nothing to talk about. Devin and Darius, they talk about Devin's brink with like his depression, and this is how I'm going to sum that up. Okay, so I respect your transparency about you expressing you battling depression, and thank you for being open to share that. However, I think you were being a bit self-loathing, and instead of worrying about pouring into others right now, you need to be focused on pouring into yourself if it's that stressful for you. And if I can understand, you know, especially with being a small business owner, and I presume that you're speaking about your real estate. So that means you don't work for a real estate company. You're out on your own. And if you're out on your own, I don't know a lot, but I'm just curious, do you have a broker? Because you need a broker to like close your deals. So yeah, I'm curious, starting out, and like he said, in the first year, so you're just fresh out, that would be a lot on you. And I'm just curious as to know, why wouldn't you want to take the route of working with somebody just to get your feet wet and to get, you know, to get really comfortable into the business and into the area of real estate before you just decide to say, you know, I'm going to go out on my own. I'm just curious. Also, I know that a lot of people want to maybe shy away from it, but there's nothing wrong with maybe seeking more professional help that might be able to assist you in the area of your mental health, as far as maybe some medication, just to help you with a chemical balance, because there may be a chemical imbalance, and that could also create stress factors that you're not even aware of that are coming and you don't know why. But however you choose to do it, you need to address your demons, because you don't want it to spill over into your real personal life. I mean, that this is one facet, but into your real life, you don't want it to like spill into and cause like irreversible damage. But so we get to Brian's birthday party. It starts out where I guess it was 2.5 hours behind, because like Ayo and those had got there, or a few of those had got there, and they had been waiting, so they were a little, annoyed, as I would be. But we get Callie explaining to Max about the cake, and here's my thing. Max, all you had to do is just be quiet and let Callie get his thought out, because his thoughts are very long. His thoughts are very exaggerated. His thoughts are very elongated. They're just drawn out. And so you have to give him time to really get his thought together so that he can express himself as clearly and concisely as he can. But instead, you chose to continue to interrupt him and interrupt, and you wanted to start, you wanted to pop off. And he wanted to give you what you wanted. But then you didn't want the smoke, and you didn't want the smoke. So that's why you started twitching your little ass in the air and started all that twerking shit. And I don't know why have grown 30-year-old men, I mean, even if you were a female, if you were a woman, because I don't get it. It makes no sense. But they talking about, come see me, and baby boy Max, he didn't want it with Callie. So then Marley J tries to step in with a voice of reason, trying to make shit right with Max. Max still in a hot head. I feel like if you're an adult, I don't care how upset you are, you make cognitive choices. You make choices. And he made a choice to not calm down. He made a choice to not hear or appeal to reason at that moment. He didn't want to hear what Marley had to say. It wasn't that he didn't hear him. He didn't want to hear him. And when somebody is trying to help you, why would you shun that? That was a stupid move on your part. I'm not even going to say ignorant, because ignorance is not to know. And I believe that you know better, Max, but you chose not to do better. And so that's how a fight ensued between you and Marley J. Pablo, you messy as fuck, because you know that you jumped in that fight. You wasn't trying to break up nothing. I don't like people who say they trying to break up something, but when they breaking up something, they still getting licks in on somebody. So while that boy was down, I played it back a few times. Y'all was kicking. Max had a vice grip on Marley's hair, and he is getting pulled by his hair. Lord God Jesus. Oh, that just, he got his locks pulled out. He got some locks pulled out. And so if he got locks pulled out, so that means his scalp was very tender at that time. And his, ooh, Jesus. So yeah, I don't like nobody like that. You sneaking, and you know you jumped in that shit, but you won't own it. But I'ma own it for you. You messy. Your slip is showing. And that really was said like conflict, and we're gonna move right on into episode 4 of Orlando Strong. And so, like I said, at Brian's party, we see how he drugged Marley. Marley did, bop him a few times, but once he got down, it was hard for him to regain his footing, and he got him by the head, and he then got kicked. And like I said, his friend jumped in it. So I didn't like that. And then we see where Remini shows up, and she having a conversation with Callie. Callie knows we're talking about Devin. Devin, that was, I don't want to say that it was fake, but I can't say that it was sincere, because if you truly meant what you said, you could have so easily picked up the phone or text Remini or said, left a voicemail. If she don't answer, anything to show more sincerity than giving this business email like apology from your business Instagram page. I mean, it just comes across disingenuous, and if that's what you want to go with, then you go with it. But like I said, spirit of Lauren all over you, and I just feel like you are so much better than that. But they seem like they both agree, they being Remini and Callie, that Devin is fake, and I can see fakeness. I won't say that he's completely fake, but I can see fakeness. And then we see Devin, he meets with his friend to show a home. Unless they didn't sign off, even if they blurred their face out, I would really like to see you maybe in an open house space where people, maybe you setting up for an open house, or maybe other people coming to see a showing. Something that looks more authentic, because you walking around the house the first time and we saw you talking to Lauren, that fell, no. And now with the friend who, I just wasn't buying it. So yeah, maybe if I see a little bit more, I could take you a little more seriously. Not saying that this is not your passion, and this is not, your career path. I'm just saying from what I see, the optics, it's hard for me to take it seriously. So then we get into the serious moment of the episode, and it's about post June 12, 2016. And what is so bizarre to me is the age gap of these people that they've put together. There's an age gap there. And when there's an age gap, sometimes it's hard to relate. People are not relatable. Like, I see them wanting to, like Max and Devin and Pablo, I've heard them using Callie's age as, trying to use that as an insult or as a shade. But his age is not an insult. It's not shade at all. It's a flex, because he is where you're trying to get. Hopefully you hope and pray that you get where he is chronologically, because a lot of you that are in your 20s aren't getting out of your 20s, and a lot of you that are just peeking to see your 30s, that's as far as you go. So the fact that the Lord has blessed him to see his 40s, he is so fortunate and he is so blessed. So think twice before you come for somebody in their age, especially if you haven't even gotten there yet. Now, if you want to come for their age and what they've done with it, now that's different. That's totally different. But just to come for the age, no, that's immature and that's late, and try again. But I appreciated Callie's transparency. I appreciated his vulnerability, and I appreciated him sharing with the group, taking them back in time and sharing with them what he lived through and what he has been living with ever since losing his friend and hearing, him ultimately pass away over the phone, and then to know that he was left in a bathroom, on a bathroom floor, until he was found in a restroom like other casualties that didn't make it. And then at the final end, Callie's heartfelt expression of exposure of that is the Pulse Club and the Pulse Board of Executives. I just think that it was something that I guess needed to have light shed on it. He needed it for the cleansing of himself, and I'm glad that he was able to get that out. But leave your comments in the comment section below. I was able to get through all of this and weather the storm of that be Hurricane Milton, as I am in Florida. And so, yes, there were some tornadoes that touched down close in my area in Wellington, Florida. And there also, unfortunately, as a result of those tornadoes, or that particular massive tornado, there was a casualty that I heard about. So my condolences to the family of those who lost their loved one in these most recent weather events, these weather conditions. And I hope that everyone else, everywhere else, Hillsborough, Volusia, all the counties on that side, my prayers are with you, and I hope that your families were safe. I hope that you are safe, and until next time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.